I keep seeing TikTok videos of like groups of women with a cat or two, like holding paws.
Just a cat or two.
Well, they're all in a seance with candles, but they're
Oh.
saying like song lyrics. They're like, "My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard," and they're like, "It's better than yours." And like they're chanting it.
Amazing.
I love it.
Let's get to it.
Okay. Hi, Misfits. This is Kevin.
And this is Kate.
Welcome to Horrorwood.
Ooh.
How's it going?
Oh,
Kate and I were just debriefing in the kitchen for a while on our lives.
Just what a mess it
What
all
is
is.
happening?
Oh, this world. And I don't know, is everybody stressed out? Because I just feel overwhelmed with life these days.
I think there's just a general generic feeling of constant vibrating anxiety
And dread.
that's pervading all of our psyches.
Yeah. I mean, even just like driving, something about the summer in Chicago, but everyone forgets how to drive.
No, they just get in their car and they swerve around and do what they want.
I got cut off no less than 3 times yesterday coming home from the studio, and I was on Lakeshore. And, we're all like flying down Lakeshore. And then this guy just in this huge SUV decides to cut me off. I slammed on my brakes and I was like this close to skidding right into him. It was terrifying.
Kate.
And I'm like, dude. And then I got cut off 2 more times.
Like right after
Do
that.
people not see my car?
Oh my God, that's terrifying. I hate people that like on Lakeshore specifically who just decide it's like this race car track.
Hate it.
I feel like an old person who's like, get them off the road. They're going to hurt someone out there.
It's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah, anywho, that's our little recap of life right now.
Life sucks. So how are all of you? I had COVID and I'm feeling better finally.
Good. Yeah.
Testing negative, Kate, so you should be fine.
I would not have agreed to this if you were not well, so.
Yeah, that was awful and yucky.
A lot of people have COVID right now.
I think it's just really out there.
It is. It's really popping at the moment.
I took the Paxlovid and it really helped.
Good.
It's amazing.
You know what else is amazing?
What?
The story you're about to tell us.
Yeah. Today, Kate and listeners, I'm going to be talking about a place called Silent Hill. Ooh. This started off as a game. It was a game franchise before it was like anything else. What I'm going to do today, we'll just do a little outline here at the beginning like we're in class.
Yes, Mr. Corbett.
Raise your hands. I just had a flashback immediately to 7th grade history class, where I had to give my oral presentation on Anne Boleyn.
What a time to go back to. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. She got beheaded. You're like, where is this going? My Uncle Dick made me a tiny, because he was a woodworker.
Okay.
And he made me a tiny little guillotine that had like a blade. And so I bought a Barbie doll like from the dollar store that was like dressed in royal garb. And so I gave my presentation and I was like, and the tragic life of Anne Boleyn was cut short by Henry VIII when he had her head cut off. And I stepped aside and I put the little guillotine up on the podium and I took the Barbie and I just walked her to the guillotine and put her in there and then cut her head off.
Wow. What grade did you get on that presentation?
I got an A.
Excellent.
I feel like I still have that in storage somewhere.
I would think that you would. I feel like you would not get rid of something like that.
Oh my God. I'm going to bring my tiny guillotine. Little Betty.
Do not cut Betty's head off.
No. She can run the guillotine.
I see.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Tiny guillotine. Chopping heads.
Slicing into the future.
Wow, we're terrible people.
We are not. We're good people with good hearts and sassy attitudes.
I love it.
I'm sorry.
Nope.
My body is deprived of all nutrients.
Do not apologize.
Sorry, Silent Hill. Jesus. I'm like Anne Boleyn, Little Guillotines. Today we're talking about Silent Hill. We're going to talk about the games. The game franchise eventually turned into a movie franchise. The movie franchise eventually turned into some weird little TV thing that did not do well, which I'll mention at the very end.
Got it.
So this chilling franchise plunges players and viewers into a realm where reality and nightmare, they're not so different.
Mm.
Inspired by the real-life ghost town of Centralia, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to say here right at the top that the town of Centralia did not inspire the games.
Got it.
It inspired the atmosphere of the movie. I'll get into the history of Centralia because that is crazy.
Okay.
Silent Hill's allure delivers us into a dark domain where fear is a tangible presence.
Mm.
So in the late 90s, the video game industry was having its renaissance. Mm. It was like PlayStations. That's all I can remember.
I was gonna say, were you ever a gamer?
GAYMER.
Nice.
Kind of. I was not like one of those people who could sit for hours and play those like RPA games, the role-playing action.
Yeah.
I could do like Spyro, which was a little dragon that collected gems, or Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
Sonic.
Sure.
Those were my kind of
I was a
games.
Nintendo girl, but that's as far as it went for me.
Nintendo definitely. Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Mario.
Paperboy.
Yes.
But that's as far as it went for me. I never got into PlayStation or any of those things.
Okay. I got into it a little bit, but not to the level where I'd probably be playing Silent Hill.
Okay.
So, renaissance in the game industry. Everything's happening. People are looking at how to like make money, make new games. Mm-hmm. Where can we take gaming culture? Like, what can we make that's new and fresh?
Sure.
And scary.
Ooh.
And so that is where Silent Hill was born, and the company that made it is called Konami.
Oh, okay. I have heard of that company.
Yeah, I've heard of that company too, which is a renowned Japanese gaming development company. And they were like, okay, let's go into the horror genre, but let's go into like the survival horror genre.
Okay.
Specifically. So the result was Silent Hill, a game that would not only redefine horror in video games, but also play with the psyche of gamers worldwide. Mm. It really got into people's heads.
Was it a role-playing game?
Yes, essentially.
Okay.
I believe so.
Was it a game where you played with other real people in the world?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it was like one of those connected ones. I could be wrong, but in my research, I didn't see that. Okay. I think it's one of those things you pop it in and play it yourself.
Gotcha.
So major spoilers ahead. Major. For the game, for the movie. Go play it or watch it, I guess, and then come back. So the first Silent Hill game was released in 1999, developed by Konami's Team Silent. The game was a departure from traditional horror games at the time, which were often relying on like jump scares and like lots of gore and gross stuff.
Yeah.
And instead, Silent Hill kind of took the psychological horror route.
Okay.
So that's what made it different. And people were like, ooh, that's interesting. It's not this like usual like blood and guts are flying all over my face. And blah, scared.
It's kind of like what's behind there.
Right, like what's
behind,
kind of like, well, I'll get into it. The story centered around a man, Harry Mason, who you're basically playing as.
Oh, okay.
And he's an everyman who's searching for his adopted daughter, Cheryl, in the eerie, fog-enshrouded town of Silent Hill. This is where we start with the fog.
Okay.
There is just fog.
So much fog.
Kate. I had a dream about fog last night because of researching this story and looking at all those pictures of the foggy roads.
Fog.
The fog.
What the fog?
What the fog is going on? So As Harry navigated through the town, he encounters grotesque creatures and unsettling environments that seem to be manifestations of his innermost fear and guilt. So it's like you're in this place that's torturing you with these horrible things that are part of your own psyche.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So Harry discovers that Silent Hill is a place where his nightmares come true. And it's a realm where the town itself seems to conspire against him. And the truth unfolds gradually. Cheryl, his daughter, is the reincarnation of Alessa Gillespie.
Tell me about Alessa Gillespie.
Alessa Gillespie. She's a girl who suffered horrid abuse at the hands of the town's cult.
Oh.
There's a cult in town.
You love a cult.
I love a cult. A cult and a cult. OCCULT.
Look at you with the wordplay.
The cult in this town sought to bring forth the town's god through Alessa's torment. A cult trying to get to a demon god.
Okay.
Harry's journey culminates in a confrontation with the town's darkness and Alessa's vengeful spirit.
Oh, I knew she was going to be
She's
a vengeful
mad.
bitch.
She's pissed. She's like, y'all tortured me to get to this demon god. What did you want? That's kind of the gist.
Got it.
The atmosphere of Silent Hill was the defining feature that everyone was like, ooh, spooky.
So foggy.
So much fog. How do you see anything? Team Silent employed innovative techniques to create an oppressive and immersive environment. The town itself was shrouded in perpetual fog. If you're drinking listening to this, take a shot every time I say fog.
Yes.
Or take a drink, not a shot, because I don't want you to die. Fog.
Oh, there's a lot of fog.
It was a technical decision initially made for the game to mask PlayStation's limited draw distance.
Wait, I don't understand. What's that mean?
So basically, that means that like you can only depth-wise see so far into the game. Like it was a design thing at the time that they couldn't do. So they decided to mask shit and fog to cover that, and it ended up being like the defining feature of the game. Like so, its limitation became what was super popular about it, which I thought was amazing.
That is cool.
Yeah. So you're in this fog, you're seeing demons and scary things and this thing Pyramid Head, which we'll talk about later. There's dissonant industrial noises, haunting melodies, and unsettling silence. The ambient sound design was composed by Yakira Yamoka. Akira played a crucial role in heightening that tension with that soundscape.
Cool.
All of these artistic elements that they were putting together over there at Konami was working together.
Sounds like
it. And this was a popular game. Best believe.
I believe.
The game's narrative was influenced by the works of Stephen King and David Lynch. So that kind of atmosphere, if you're familiar with those stories and movies. The story was deliberately ambiguous. So, I mean, we do have kind of the narrative points of it, but it allowed players to interpret the events and characters' motivations in multiple ways.
That's cool.
It wasn't necessarily, I mean, I guess you could say it was sort of like a choose-your-own-adventure type situation, as with most games. But I think it was allowing people agency to sort of like pull back and think like, oh, that's interesting, and make their own clues, connections, and all of that. Upon its release, the original Silent Hill game was met with widespread acclaim for the atmospheric horror, the innovative storytelling. Critics praised the ability to create a sense of dread and isolation, which nowadays you don't have to play a game to do that.
You just walk
out
your front door.
You just have to walk out your front door or turn on a news outlet. It set a new standard for the survival horror genre. GameSpot's review noted that Silent Hill's strengths lie in its atmosphere, the unsettling sound design, and the psychological depth of its narrative.
You got it.
My nose started running right as I said that. The game's story was also lauded. IGN's review highlighted Silent Hill is more about the mind than the monsters, focusing on the characters' fears and pasts, making every encounter feel deeply personal and disturbing. The psychological approach to horror distinguished Silent Hill from its contemporaries. A classic is born. In the fog. Drink it up. Misfits. I love it. Silent Hill came out. Hot shit. Everybody loved it. Let's play it. We're obsessed.
Yes.
The success of the first Silent Hill game led to the creation of Silent Hill 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the movie. Another game?
Yeah, another game came out before the movie, with each installment building upon the foundation laid by its predecessor. So not only did it spur Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 2. There was like 3, 4, 5,
wow.
6. I actually wrote out all of them with little things. I decided I'm not gonna read all of them, but I'll go through their titles.
Okay.
It's not that many. Not like the list. Remember when I read all the Amityville horror lists? Yes. And you chimed in and you're like, this list was long. That was amazing. Go listen to the Amityville horror episode. Silent Hill 2, though, was released in 2001, and it's regarded as another great horror game. They built on something they already had, and it worked.
Yeah.
So it introduced a new protagonist, James Sunderland, who arrives in Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his deceased wife, Mary. The letter's existence suggests a sinister twist to his reality, pulling James into a descent through the town's twisted fog and desolate streets. As he searches for Mary, James encounters various figures from the past, each a reflection of his deepest guilt and fears. The game's exploration of grief, guilt, and punishment resonated deeply with players, and its iconic antagonist, Pyramid Head, became a symbol of the series. Pyramid Head is scary looking.
I'll bet. Sounds...
I'll show you a picture.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah, don't love it. I don't like things without a face. You know?
I get that.
I think I'd like even my monsters to have a face.
To have a face. Something to look at.
That one doesn't have a face.
So, again, Silent Hill 2 came out, and people, I think, were already still loving the first one. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, this is bananas good. We love it.
Yes.
Critics and fans alike considered it like a masterpiece.
Wow.
With many citing, the emotional impact, that psychological part of the game as like what really drew them to it. Mm-hmm. Back to IGN's review, it stated that Silent Hill 2 is one of the most compelling horror experiences in gaming, with a story that is deeply disturbing and profoundly moving. GameSpot also praised the game's psychological complexity, noting that it is an exploration of the human psyche, where the horrors are not just in the environment, but within the characters themselves. We'll talk a little bit about what spun off from there, because I don't want to go too far down into a rabbit hole of lore with all these games, because I think it sort of continues through each game.
Okay.
So Silent Hill 3 introduced Heather Mason, who was the teenage daughter of Harry Mason from the first one, who is now grown and unaware of her connection to the town. So her journey begins to a visit with the mall, where she's attacked by grotesque creatures, and her path leads her back to Silent Hill. That was 3. Then there's Silent Hill 4: The Room from 2004, Silent Hill Origins from 2007, Silent Hill Shattered Memories from 2009, Silent Hill Downpour from 2012, Silent Hill Book of Memories, Silent Hill PT.
A lot of Silent Hills.
Silent Hills. So the impact of Silent Hill on the horror genre can't be overstated. It influenced countless games, films, and other media with that unique blend of psychological horror and storytelling. It really focused on the narrative story.
Yeah.
The series' ability to evoke fear through atmosphere rather than cheap scares was a new standard. And
which honestly, it's so much more interesting.
I think so too. I think so too. I like what it was doing here. It inspired a lot of other popular games at the time. People were like, oh, I think I really like how this is laid out. So
yeah.
Games like Resident Evil 4, Alan Awake, Dead Space, Siren Blood Curse, The Evil Within, and Bloodborne all drew inspiration from Silent Hill. So despite changes in development teams and varying reception to later installments, the core elements of Silent Hill have remained the main focus of the games. And the popularity is definitely still strong.
Yeah.
It's still a popular thing that people talk about, people play, people engage with. So let's move on to the construction of the Silent Hill world as a movie. I almost said film, but I changed it.
Well, I think you were going to say film, and then you saw that I was going to say movie.
Kate and I are the same length. We can just talk at the same time and know exactly what we're going to say. Into the fog.
I almost said once, like the musical.
Oh my God. All right, so the Silent Hill film franchise ventured into the realm of cinema with dark allure all of its own. So let's delve into the story behind the Silent Hill movies, tracing their development, the inspiration drawn from real-life horror, and the chilling tales that unfold within the fog-shrouded town.
Everyone's drunk now.
They're all drunk. They've turned it off and passed out.
True.
The idea to bring Silent Hill to the big screen was sparked by the success and cult status of the video games. In 2006, director Christoph Gans, known for his work on Brotherhood of the Wolf, was brought on board to adapt the series for film. So the film was produced by TriStar Pictures, Silent Hill DCP Inc., Davis Films, and in association with Konami, which is the game company. Okay. Gans, who was a self-proclaimed fan of the games, sought to preserve the atmosphere in the film. So he really wanted this to be a good representation of the game. He believed that the haunting ambiance of the game's world, combined with the complex narrative, could translate effectively into a movie. Absolutely, it could. They set the movie in West Virginia, actually. So the decision to set the Silent Hill movie in West Virginia was influenced by the desire to capture a sense of isolation and decay that would mirror the unsettling atmosphere of the video games.
Okay.
West Virginia, with the rugged landscape, abandoned coal mines, and small remote towns, provided the ideal backdrop for that desolate setting that the game invokes.
Sure.
I believe the game is like just generically set in a New England town, is what it says. The filmmakers wanted to evoke otherworldliness and dread and kind of make something that's hauntingly beautiful. So I could see why the setting, you know, in a deteriorating environment of West Virginia was helping to achieve that.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Because you're from there.
Can confirm. Director Christoph Gans and his team found inspiration in the state's real-life ghost towns and stories and the linger effects of the mining industry. So the production design drew heavily on those elements.
Okay.
Creating a town that felt trapped in time. Much like the fictional Silent Hill. So this choice also allowed filmmakers to incorporate fog-shrouded forests, yes, and misty valleys, enhancing the movie's atmosphere. So, foggy.
Real foggy.
Real foggy. So the inspiration for Silent Hill's eerie setting, as I had mentioned before, was not purely fictional and found roots in a chilling real-life story, the ghost town of Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Tell me about it.
I'm gonna. Centralia's tale is one of desolation, a story that has haunted locals and intrigued outsiders for decades.
Oh, wow.
I wrote this again, like that the game is not inspired by this town. It is the movie atmosphere that is inspired by this town. And West Virginia. Nestled in the rolling hills of Columbia County, Pennsylvania, lies a ghost town shrouded in mystery and silence, Centralia. This town, once a bustling community, has become a spectral ruin.
Ooh.
Its streets cracked open and its air tinged with the acrid scent of sulfur.
Streets cracked open?
Centralia's story is a haunting saga of human folly, environmental catastrophe, and ghostly legend, serving as chilling inspiration for Silent Hill. Centralia's origins trace back to the early 19th century when coal was discovered in that region of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The town was founded in 1866 and thrived. It was a coal mining town.
Sure.
So this was like all, you know, everybody living there was around that industry, essentially.
Like miners.
And yeah.
Got it.
Centralia's population peaked in the 1890s, with around 1,000 residents calling the town home. The mines, which provided the town's livelihood, were the lifeblood of Centralia's economy and the source of its growth. So it started off tiny. I know 1,000 is still tiny, but it grew kind of quickly.
Yeah, of course.
The town was a close-knit community where neighbors knew each other by name, and the clamor of industry was ever present. Centralia's streets were lined with modest homes, local businesses, and churches.
Oh, churches. I was like, what?
Churches. But beneath this giant surface lay a dangerous secret. The town was built on a network of underground coal seams, a ticking time bomb that would one day ignite the town's descent into desolation.
The whole town?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, that's terrifying.
The tale of Centralia's demise begins in May of 1962, when a fire started in a landfill on the outskirts of town. The fire was intended to burn trash, so they were out there trying to light the landfill on fire to burn it all up.
I see.
Too much trash. But somehow found its way into the labyrinth of coal veins beneath the town. So what seemed like a small, controllable blaze soon morphed into a relentless underground inferno.
Oh, wow.
Burning unseen beneath the town's surface. For decades, the fire smoldered.
Decades?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't know that that's what was going on?
I'll let you know. It's for decades the fire smoldered, its presence hidden by the town's ordinary landscape. Local officials and residents were unaware of the impending disaster.
Wow.
The first signs of trouble appeared in 1969. So just a few years after it happened.
Okay.
It didn't go decades unnoticed. But
I see.
When the ground in Centralia began to crack open.
Ooh.
And smoke began to seep through the fissures in the earth.
Can you imagine just like walking down the street and just seeing smoke in the middle of the street?
Yeah,
just coming up from the ground?
Up from the cracks of the ground.
Oh, that is
It's eerie. Isn't that scary?
Yeah.
I could see why they would want to use this. Like, this is terrifying. Residents noticed that the ground was unusually hot.
Oh.
And the town's atmosphere was increasingly filled with a sickly, sulfurous odor.
Oh, have you ever smelled sulfur water? The worst.
Yes.
Worst.
It is disgusting.
So gross.
Sulfur is awful. They just found sulfur rocks on Mars. Like one of the rovers ran over a rock and crushed it. And there was like elemental makeup of sulfur, but it's not like the stinky.
Oh.
It's like pure sulfur.
Yeah.
So that doesn't have a smell, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah, right? By 1979, the situation had escalated to a crisis point, with numerous reports of sinkholes opening up the ground and literally just like things sinking in, smoke coming out.
Okay, sinkholes terrify me.
Yeah.
Did you see recently, like the middle of that football field?
Yes. Oh my God.
That was insane.
Sinkholes are crazy.
Terrifying.
I listened to My Favorite Murder, and Karen Kilgariff is obsessed with sinkholes, and they started a new TikTok series called Sinkhole Saturdays.
Oh my goodness.
And so she watches videos of sinkholes and rates them from 1 to 5.
Oh my
sinkholes.
goodness.
I love it. I love it.
It scares me that there's enough sinkholes for her to have an entire series.
Oh, sinkholes abound.
I don't love that.
We're all falling into the earth.
Oh, God.
As the fire spread, the dangers became undeniable. In 1981, the state of Pennsylvania took action, condemning the area within a 1,000-foot radius of the blaze and offering to buy out residents. Many accepted.
I would hope so. I would have taken that deal.
Yeah, I would have been like, get me out of here. It's
the ground is burning up and it's smoking.
We're all falling in. Leaving their homes and the town's familiar streets behind. Centralia's population dwindled rapidly, from around 1,000 in the 1960s to just a handful by the early 1980s.
I can't even believe a handful stayed.
Right?
I would have taken that deal so fast, you would have seen me waving goodbye from the rearview mirror.
The town's school, once a hub of community activity, was closed in 1981, and its fate was sealed. For those who remained, the decision to stay was often driven by stubbornness, or the hope that the fire would eventually be extinguished.
Oh, that's sad.
Among them was an elderly woman named Agnes.
Oh, no.
Whose house still stands at the edge of the desolate landscape, a lone sentinel in a town that had become a ghostly shadow of its former self. As the years went by, the state continued its efforts to relocate the remaining residents, and the land was officially condemned in 1992, though a few holdouts still refused to leave their home.
That is crazy because they discovered the smoke, you said, in like 69?
Yeah. It started in 1962.
62,
They
okay.
they figured it out in 1969, and it's just been burning.
And now we're into the 90s, and there's still people who are like, well, it'll go out eventually.
Yes.
Yikes.
Today, Centralia is a place of eerie stillness. The town streets, once filled with the hustle and bustle of daily life, are now cracked and overgrown, with only remnants of buildings standing as silent monuments to the past. The ground is scarred by deep fissures and open sinkholes, some of which vent smoke and toxic gases.
Still today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The town's main road, Route 61, is infamous for its ghostly appearance, closed off to traffic, but still visible through its cracked pavement, and the haunting wisp of smoke rising from the earth.
I hate that.
Yeah, the fire still burns today.
That is wild. Yeah, I guess there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do.
Has it spread any?
I mean, it's only within those veins of coal that's underneath the town. I don't think it's gone. I don't think it's branched out, but because there were coal deposits underneath, like, I don't know how you get down there and put that stuff out, if you even can.
Yeah. Oh. But there are no residents still, right? Like, they're all gone?
It's condemned now.
Okay.
From what I read, I believe it's, like, completely wiped out.
Okay.
You can visit there, though.
I don't want to.
I do. Centralia's haunting landscape has drawn countless visitors, many of whom come to witness the ghost town's eerie beauty and otherworldly atmosphere.
But I imagine, like, there's a lot of toxins that are being released into the air.
Well, of course. Like, it's a sulfur pit.
I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Burning coal is not good for the environment. I mean, we see how that's turning out. The town's story has also captured the imagination of writers, filmmakers, urban explorers who find Centralia a compelling blend of tragedy and, like, a supernatural, like, otherworldly feeling. Mm-hmm. So it has that atmosphere.
Yeah.
When Christoph Gans, director of Silent Hill, set out to bring the games to the big screen, Centralia's desolate landscape was a source of inspiration of his for the film. So Gans, who was a fan of the games, was captivated by the town's haunting history and sort of like dreamlike quality because it's just like smoky. He remarked that Centralia is a place where reality and nightmare blend seamlessly. Ooh. It's a place where the past and the present converge in a haunting, almost spectral manner, and it was impossible to not be, like, inspired by that.
I mean, that makes sense. I could definitely see why that would inspire a movie.
Gans and his team, I'm saying Gans, G-A-N-S. It could be Gans, but I'm just going to say Gans because I think it's correct. Okay. If not, I apologize,
I thought it was Gans, actually, but I could definitely be wrong.
I don't know. So I'm going to say Gans. Kate says Gans. And one of us is right.
And you get to choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure, misfit queens. So the director visited Centralia and immersed himself in that ambiance. The film's depiction of Silent Hill with its fog-laden streets and haunting atmosphere was a, mirror of that desolate terrain. Mm-hmm. So the art direction and set design were heavily influenced by Centralia.
Yeah.
Creating a world that feels both familiar and alien. Ooh-wee. So from IMDb trivia, it actually took Christoph 5 years to obtain the rights to make the film.
Wow.
He was given the rights after he sent Konami a video of an interview describing how much Silent Hill meant to him. Along with the interview, he sent scenes that he filmed on his own dollar, cut up and overlaid with music from the games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he tried hard, and he got it. Good for him. So let's go into the movie and what that's about. The first film opens with Rose De Silva's desperate search for her adopted daughter, Sharon. Rose De Silva is played by Rhoda Mitchell, and her daughter, Sharon, is played by Jodelle Furland. Sharon, the daughter, is having disturbing visions of the town. Additional cast members include Laurie Holden as Sybil Bennett, and Sean Bean as Christopher De Silva.
Okay.
As they drive through the night, their car veers off course, leading them to the fog-laden streets of Silent Hill.
Ooh.
Ooh. The town's eerie atmosphere is immediately palpable, with empty streets, the haunting wisps of smoke rising from the ground, just like in Centralia, PA.
Kevin's really getting into the atmosphere here.
Yes. Rose encounters eerie figures, including the ominous Pyramid Head.
Without a face.
No face. His grotesque form and unsettling presence are terrifying. The movie did great.
Mm-hmm.
The movie actually came out and was really popular.
When did it come out?
2006.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it came out and was super popular and still has a pretty high IMDb rating. I haven't seen it in a while, but I did see it when it came out and remember it was good.
Nice.
It's considered one of the spooky ones.
Yeah.
Christoph's direction of the film was praised for capturing the game's essence.
Good.
He did a good job. I mean, I think he loved the game so much that he was able to, like, make that apparent and do a really good job with kind of culminating and, creating that world and that atmosphere.
Yes.
So good on him. IGN reviewed the movie, saying that Silent Hill was a masterful adaptation.
I'm sorry, what is IGN? I don't feel like I know what that is.
Imagine Games Network.
Imagine Games Network. Okay.
They said that Silent Hill is a masterful adaptation and that it will leave you on the edge of your seat. The film's use of practical effects and atmospheric cinematography, combined with Akira Yamaoka's haunting score, created a world that was both terrifying and mesmerizing. The film's monsters, particularly Pyramid Head, were brought to life with a combination of CGI and practical effects, enhancing their unsettling presence. Also, I was interesting to note that a lot of cast members that played monsters were actually dancers, so they could lend their bodies to create those disturbing, spooky movements.
That's cool.
The first movie was not the only Silent Hill film iteration. The sequel, Silent Hill Revelation from 2012, which is what I watched last night, delves deeper into the lore of Silent Hill, focusing on Heather Mason's quest to uncover her past. The film introduces new characters and expands on the dark history, building on the original success. I liked it last night. It's not as good as the first one, but they kept
Sequels rarely are.
They kept up with the atmosphere and the story. I wasn't following the story too well, I think, because I hadn't seen the first. I mean, I haven't seen the first one in a while. But I still thought it was good. It did manage to capture some of the eerie ambiance that made the film so compelling. And this one was directed by MJ Bassett, produced by Davis Films, Dynamic Effects Canada, and Konami, and distributed by Universal in the U.S. Christoph, the director of the first film, was not directly involved in the sequel. And he expressed disappointment with the film's direction. And he stated that the essence of Silent Hill is its psychological depth and its exploration of human fears. The sequel missed the mark in capturing that essence.
I wonder why he wasn't involved.
I don't know. While some praised its attempt to delve deeper into the mythology, others felt that it lacked the original suspense and depth.
Sure.
Rotten Tomatoes remarked, Silent Hill Revelation has its moments, but it struggles to capture the magic of the first film, often relying on visual spectacle over substance. That I can get.
Okay.
There were a lot of really intense, disturbing images that were kind of beautiful in a really macabre way. But yeah, story-wise, I wasn't following too well.
I see.
Yeah, the movie franchise, specifically the first one, really hit the mark. It's often hailed as one of the best video game adaptations, with critics and fans alike appreciating its faithfulness to the source material and that chilling, spooky atmosphere.
I can't remember if I've seen it, because I never remember if I've seen a film. But I definitely want to go and watch it now.
We should watch it.
Yeah.
I'd love to watch it again.
Yeah.
Because I don't... I mean, I remember it, but I don't, remember it. It's not on the top of my mind.
Right.
The cinematography of that film was helmed by Dan Lotson, who was crucial in creating the look. Lotson's use of lighting and shadows added layers of depth to the visuals, enhancing the sense of dread. The sound design by Akira was iconic, and I mean, she did it for the games and also did it for the movie. And those melodies and dissonant tones created a soundscape that was just perfect for those visuals. So yeah, that was the Silent Hill movie. There was also a TV series, which I looked up last night. I'm going to have to engage with it. It's on Tubi. It's called Silent Hill Ascension from 2023. From what I can read, and I don't know because like no one is explaining it very well.
Okay.
It's like I think what it is a choose your own adventure TV show.
Choose your own adventure comes up again in this episode.
Right? Do you remember, did you watch on Netflix, there was Black Mirror Bandersnatch?
Yes.
I want to say it's something like that.
Okay.
I don't know because I didn't delve into it.
Yeah.
I got too tired last night after watching Revelation, and I was like, no more.
And then you had nightmares.
And then I had nightmares. There doesn't seem to be much out there on it. It didn't seem to do too well.
I see.
I think. And
okay.
From what I read, it's currently on hiatus.
All right.
But you can stream it on Tubi. IMDb's plot reads, Silent Hill Ascension is an interactive streaming series that follows multiple main characters from locations around the world as they confront the horrors that they have unknowingly unleashed upon their communities.
I mean, it sounds cool.
It does sound cool. So
I'd be surprised if it didn't
I
do
know.
well. Unless it just wasn't executed in a...
Exactly. And I don't know. I haven't... More to come. I will let
Okay.
you know next time, or I'll post on social media. So the Silent Hill movie franchise, with its roots in both fictional horror and real-life tragedy, has carved a niche in the horror genre. The film's success lies in their ability... Well, I should say the film and game success lies in their ability to blend the psychological and the supernatural, creating stories that are terrifying and thought-provoking. From the haunting corridors of Centralia to the foggy streets of Silent Hill, these films continue to captivate audiences, drawing them into a world where fear is all around you.
I already live in that world.
Me too. The legacy of Silent Hill endures, a testament to the power of storytelling. So go play the game, go watch the movies. Think about how mines catch on fire underneath the ground and rot a whole town away in 30 years.
Did any of the residents in Centralia die from those toxins?
I didn't see that.
Okay, I just wonder, or like the long-term effects of that, because if they're breathing that air for 20 plus years, can't be good. Can't be doing the system well.
I'll ask the Google. The residents of Centralia, Pennsylvania, experienced several health issues, including burning eyes, a sulfur taste and smell, headaches, fatigue, and respiratory issues.
They had to have.
Yeah, they had higher rates of health problems than people in neighboring towns.
Were there any fatalities?
Of course there probably were.
Ugh, that's awful. Ooh.
That's Silent Hill.
Ugh. Don't ever need to go to Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Nope.
But if you've been...
If you want to go, let us know.
Let us know in the comments on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at...
Horrorwood Podcast.
Or you can send us an email at...
horrorwoodpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you're feeling generous, you can pop on over to Patreon at...
patreon.com/horrorwoodpodcast.
We appreciate all of you. We hope you keep listening.
And guys, leave us a review. If you like the podcast, please go on Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, and leave us a review. Like, it really helps us. Rate, review, subscribe, and you might be lucky because if you write a review, we might read it on here.
We just might.
You might get a shout.
You just might.
You just might get it. It helps us. It helps us.
It does.
Yeah.
It helps us out a lot. Yeah, we need the help.
Of course. Yeah. And if you're a listener and you like this podcast, just leave us a little review. Add a little funny comment in there.
We love it.
We love to hear from you.
Send us your own ghost stories and
Send us your own ghost stories at horrorwoodpodcast@gmail.com.
There it is.